So welcome everybody to the Go Champions League game between Dignitas and Gamers2. The knife round is live on the first map, dust2. The second map will be Mirage. The two teams have decided to play the maps that they have played recently, and they have played it a lot. And Gamers2 win the knife round. They start on the CT side. It's their own choice. So let's see if that is a wise choice or not. As Gamers2, for example, have played Orbit on dust2, and they have lost against the Swedish side of Pyth, Squitten, Maxi, and Jumpy. And it was a 16-12 scoreline in favor of the Swedes, so it was a close match. But now, let's see what they can do on the CT side on dust2. Of course, we are not live yet. We need to restart the game one more time until we are live. So we had a few server issues, but it's all sorted out right now. And I hope you're pumped for this game. Of course, the Go Champions League uses a league format, so it's 10 teams battling it out for the top 6 spots. The top 6 teams will move on to the playoffs, which will be played in a double elimination. And the teams are Virtus Pro, Property, Gamers2, of course, Copenhagen Wolves, Navi, Hellraisers, Flipside, Mousesports, and Dignitas. And last but not least, Penta. So the first few games have been played already. And Virtus Pro is currently sitting on top of the league stage with 4 wins out of 4 games. And that's the... And that's the question that a lot of people have asked. What is up with that best of 2 format? You can look at it as if it was 2 different best of 1s played with the same map pool, with the same veto process, and right after each other. So it's basically like a best of 1 series with 1 game and then the revenge game, so to speak, right after that. So the teams get to play each other twice, and of course it's easier to have the 2 teams play those best of 1s right after each other, so we don't have to get a grip on the players twice, but just have 1 day to play. So we have 10 players on the server, and we should be able to go live. And yeah, just a few streamers still talking to the admins. Everything is fine. We had wrong GoTV tick rate or wrong server tick rate. That all got fixed while we were waiting. So the admins were sweating. They were working for us so we can enjoy a flawless game. And maybe Dignitas have a flawless game as well. They had quite some bad results in the past. They played 3 games yesterday and they lost. So they have lost all the 3 games they played yesterday. 2 of them have been against Property in the Go Champions League. A 10-16 loss on Nuke and the same scoreline on Inferno in favor of the Swedes. Dignitas could have won those matches if they had won 1 or 2 of the crucial rounds. Of course, CSGO is heavily dependent on those crucial rifle rounds when you are about to save, but you somehow manage to avoid saving, and then you string together 3 rounds in a row and suddenly you are up. Instead of 2 rounds up, you're 5 rounds up, and then you have everything under control and you can lean back a little bit and relax. And it was basically the case in yesterday's matches for Dignitas. When they played Property, they just couldn't win those crucial rounds, and like that, Property was able to get themselves the distance that they needed to their opponents, and in the end Dignitas lost those matches. So the game is not live yet, even though the scoreline suggests that it's live. But if you look at the players and how they are positioned, they are all AFK at the moment. So of course the skins will be returned in case of a draw. A draw is of course possible if one team wins the first map and loses the second. We will have 1 point awarded to one of the teams and 1 point awarded to the other team. The league of course doesn't care about draws or something like that. It just cares about the amount of points that you get. So it's crucial for the teams to win their own map. Even if they should lose the map of the opponent, they can at least get themselves to a somewhat even spread of the points and end up in the middle of the league, basically. And Dignitas really need to win a game, not only because they had a bad start into this league, but also because they are in kind of a slump. And now they are up against the Polish team of Gamers2, the second Polish hope. Virtus.pro is, of course, the best team in Poland right now. Let's start it off with the terrorist pistol for Dignitas. They are currently just on the lookout for the CTs, and Pim catches an 8 down to 24 HP already, but Minis in the same second basically catches 2 pistol bullets and goes down to 34 in middle. The CTs shift their positions around to A long, while the terrorists are bunched up in front of A long. They're still unsure where to actually go, but it looks like they could go for the A split, and the CTs are perfectly positioned for that, even though it is of course up to the frags and where they go. The CTs with 2 in long, AZ with the first shot of the match, AZ with the second frag. In the meantime, Nico swamped the A platform and got himself the frag over there. 2v5 now, Rallen and Sparrow on the rotation. They are in middle, but they can't actually do much about that defense. 5 players positioned very nicely here by Infidish around in short, and the rest in long. Pimp already on the lookout in middle to see if the CTs go for the move. And Fetish now just tries to get himself some additional money, and he does it with a headshot onto Sparrow. And then Rallen goes to work on Nico, but the round is basically over already. Pimp with a second headshot there after Fetish took out Rallen. 1-0 in favor of Dignitas. Good start for them on the terrorist pistol. And now the question is this 2 considered to be a CT-sided or a terrorist-sided map? Currently it is more or less a 50-50, maybe shifted into the CT's direction. Traditionally it was a terrorist-sided map, and it was the same in the beginning of CSGO. But of course Molotov cocktails, the behavior of smoke in the game, it all contributed to the CT side, and somehow it just depends on the teams and how they play it. Dignitas now off to a good start. Maybe they can make it a terrorist-sided map, but we will have to see in the next few rounds. If they can, of course, win this one, it would be very, very bad for them if they give this save round away, and they could potentially lose it if you consider the weaponry on the CTs. 2 deagles for Sparrow and Innocent, a scout for Rallen, and that's definitely a lineup of pistols and rifles that is possible to upset the terrorists. A 5-7 in the hands of Mouse as well. Now the CTs just need to have the right positioning for that push. Dignitas lined up for the B attack, and there is Sparrow with that 1 deeg into the B tunnels. Nico goes down, Kierby with the refrag. Now Minis finds the frag in middle onto Fetish, picks up his rifle as well as Pim cleans up the B bomb site. They are in control, but the CTs are already close by. Minis with that Uzi in hand, trying to get something back, but the terrorists have smoked off the main entrance, so the CTs are slowed down. Mouse works his 5-7 on AZ, and he finally gets a frag, makes it a 2v3, and Kierby is down to 19 HP. Now the push by the CTs, good work by Innocent with 2 deagle frags, making it happen for Gamers2 and upsetting the terrorists in this crucial round, throwing the momentum around. And on top of that, Mouse and Innocent save 2 AKs and the armor, so they don't need to buy in this one. And Dignitas now scratching their heads. They looked good in the pistol round, really strong performance in there, and now they lost the second round. It will be a mind game, especially for the Danish squad. They probably question themselves right now with their not so amazingly good performances in the past weeks. So now they need to put that all behind themselves, see that game as their game to make it shine, to make themselves shine and to make it happen. And they're going for the A short execution, really fast movement there by the terrorist. Innocent with that very patient AK play, 2 headshots for him, another one for him onto Pimp, and Mouse racks up one in between. 2-1, great performance by Gamers2, just doing their job. They only lose one teammate and they make it out without too much economical damage dealt by the terrorists. Now we will see the first rifle round with the first AWP in both teams' hands, and Rallen already gets tagged by Nico on the cross to the B bomb site, down to 36 HP. And a P90 in the hands of Sparrow, maybe a weak spot for Gamers2, depends on where he's at. Let's take a peek after that action by Innocent. He goes to work through the smoke, through a flash. He still picks up Kierby, and that's one of the strongest players of Dignitas removed early on in this round. Gamers2 just need to do the basic stuff. They need to go for the refrags, and then they should be able to win another round on the CT side. Now, as I said, let's see. Sparrow with the P90 very close to the B tunnels. Of course, one of the few positions that you can actually use the P90 on the CT side. He could have gone for the middle doors as well, but that's of course a little bit more risky. Yes, Minis gets the frag onto Pimp as he was exiting middle. Now the B split is on, 3 players remaining for the terrorists, and that's just swept by Sparrow and his P90. Great job by him, good timing, making it 3-1 together with his squad. Of course, the Poles now up ahead 2 rounds, and the terrorists with another save round. P250s across the board. The CTs with the double AWP setup, of course, they have saved that AWP. They don't actually need to pay for it, so why not pick it up and try to have it for the upcoming rounds. Minis uses his scope, Sparrow does the same with his AWP, and Nico rumps the floor. Rallen is down, Fetish goes to work onto Sparrow as Minis takes out one more. It's a 1v3, and Nico on the bomb site already tries to put the bomb down, but of course he knows that there are CTs around the corner, and Minis with that close quarter shot. Great job by the scope players, both picking up the frags where they were needed and make it 4-1. Now the CTs still with that double AWP setup that they didn't even need to pay for, but Rallen catches a bullet. Nico just stellar performance with that door shot, always weakening the B defenses. Now his team just needs to abuse the fact that they have one weak CT around the map somewhere. They need to find him, they need to take him down, and then they need to force the CTs on a bad rotation and catch them off guard. Dignitas now spread out throughout the whole map. The CTs with some aggressive play. Minis is now cut off from his teammates. He needs some support really quick, and they try to do that from short and middle. They are all gathered around trying to help their teammate, but Minis goes down too easy on the push into tunnels. 4v5. Rallen still down to 19 HP. He is in the B bomb site. It's the weakest spot to attack right now, and the terrorists have one in pit, so he kind of takes away the attention from the B bomb site. He keeps the CTs on there. He just needs to show himself, and he does it. Sparrow takes him out, in fact, from the A platform as Innocent goes to work onto Kierba, who's not able to get the better of his opponent. 3v4 now. Suddenly the CT's back in the driving seat in this round, and Gamers2 are looking better by the second. Mouse takes out Nico, goes for the information to see if there is any more terrorist action over there, and there's nobody around, so he pulls back to the A platform. The terrorists will actually head towards the B bomb site, where they get disposed of by Rallen with a double kill. Really nice work by the CTs to stay in their position and just stay ahead of their opponents in every single position, in every way. Of course, one of the crucial frags, even though it was far off from the action, was Sparrow from the A platform into the pit. And that kind of made the CTs realize where the terrorists are. Now Mouse and Care by trading frags on A long. Really fast play by the terrorists on long. They try to get their spawn positions to help them out a little bit. Now Kierby on the hunt for some more CTs. He doesn't know if there is any more action over there in the smoke, but there's nobody around. Innocent now on the car, getting the shot off onto Kier by good positioning. The terrorists on the move on A short. They have naded and smoked off. Innocent still with the AK. Oh my god, that long distance spray. 3 headshots by Innocent, 4 kills in the round. What a player in this position. He made it happen in an anti-eco round already from here. Got very patient kills onto A short, and now he just went for the full 30 bullet spray of the AK, and he still managed to pick up 3 headshots. It's just amazing control of the weapon, and he forces Dignitas on a save. P250s and a deagle for Kier by the Danish squad, losing ground very fast. The Poles just too strong right now on the CT side, and of course the economy is kicking off for the Poles right now. 9k for Rellin, 15k for Innocent, and the terrorists will once again go to the A bomb site. This time they are on the better end of the frag exchange. 5v2, Rellin and Sparrow trying to get something back against the 5 terrorists, but they of course know that every angle is covered, maybe even twice, and they just poke into to see if they get some easy frags. Nico with a chance, but he goes down to Sparrow. Rellin at the same time takes out Fetish, but Pimp with the refrag onto short, making it look good for the terrorists, and they will upset the CTs in an anti-eco round. Clinch the win, save a few weapons as well, and kickstart their own economy with that good A short push that really caught the CTs off guard there. Rellin gets one back onto Pimp, who tried to save the AWP, but of course more important for Dignitas to get the round on the board. And let's take a look at the scoreboard. 11 frags for Innocent. Of course he got 4 in one rifle round from the car position and 3 in an anti-eco round from the car position. He probably stays away from that part of the map for now, as he doesn't want to be too predictable. But on the other side, we only have 4 frags for Pimp, AZ and Kierbai, and especially Kierbai needs to be the guy to carry his team a little bit, at least in the opening stages of this game, to get them a few rounds on the board and make them feel better about themselves. Now the CTs of course still have enough money. They went for another double AWP setup, mainly thanks to that AWP that got saved by Rellin, I believe, who was the last man standing in the last round. And Dignitas buying that AWP for Nico. He did a good job on the B cross. This time he missed his shot, and the terrorists will go for the basic setup. 50 seconds left on the clock. They need to figure out where to actually go and execute. Kierbai flashes himself out into middle, but just not committed yet. Waits for his teammates to be around. Another flash coming in. Rellin gets the better of him. Pimp with the refrag onto Rellin. Middle is under control for the terrorists. But oh, look at Mouse through the smoke. Long range shot onto Fetish. Sparrow on the receiving end of Nico's barrel. 3v3 in favor of the terrorists, basically, as they are in control of the B bombser, but not for long, as Miniz takes out Pimp. It's all shifted around in favor of the CTs again. Nico and AZ need to hold on to the bomb. They can't afford to lose this round. It's really crucial for Dignitas to win it and get it on the board. And the CTs, of course, are aware of the fact they will go for the retake. And Innocent goes to work onto Nico. AZ with the refrag. Now it's a 2v1. AZ still on the B platform, and he gets taken out by Mouse. 2 crucial frags by Mouse. 1 through the smoke from A into the CT spawn, and 1 to retake the bomb site. Good job by Gamers2 to once again work themselves out of a position that they almost lost a round in. The 3v3 should have gone to the terrorists, but that crucial frag in B tunnels and Mouse with the frag into middle made it happen for the CTs. Now Dignitas, thanks to the bomb plant, able to buy up, and of course the loser bonus, well, it got reset in the round before, but the weapons that got saved and all the money that they saved by picking up the rifles in this anti-eco round that they have won kind of adds up, so they can afford a real buy with an AWP for Nico. And they go for the default strategy once again. Gamers2, however, have 2 people committed to A long, so if Dignitas go for the B split once again, they could catch their opponents off guard. But Gamers2 they adjust their positions to the terrorist play. They have realized, okay, they went for the B bomb site before. Now we go for an A long setup, and Kierby is there hanging out in double doors, taking out Innocent, who was creeping through the smoke, and now Kierby fakes the move into A long, but wastes a little more time there. And just keeps one of the CTs busy in pit. Mouse is now under some pressure. He knows that the terrorists are about to enter the A bomb site, and he gets one frag, drops the bomb, can call for the rotation, but Nico silences him and makes it a 4v3 situation. Now the terrorists in control of the A bomb site, and they need to get out of those 1v1 situations. Minis takes out Kierby, who was in middle, hanging out a little bit. Rallen gets a battle of Nico, and suddenly the CT's in a 3v1. AZ needs to hold on to the bomb site. He's up against 3. He catches 1, but then he's refragged by Minis. Great retake by the CTs once again. Looks like they have fluently retaken the bomb sites without too many problems. Good timing for them, and maybe Dignitas needs to get themselves into better after plan positions. Of course, it's hard to do that if the CTs are already around the corner. But Kierby, for example, in middle, he had a very good chance to backstab the CTs, but he showed himself too early and was taken out by Minis. So that allowed the CTs to get into the bomb site from numerous directions. And now there's Minis with a good shot into middle in this anti-eco round, taking out Kierby once again. 8-2. Gamers2 looking at a very successful first half on the CT side. Pimp not able to take down Minis. Good movement by him to jump away. And now he calls in for some support. That gets taken out by Pimp. Pimp still has the number of Minis. He's eager to take him down. It's like he's fully committed to that frag. But now Minis will blow him up. And he had his pistol ready for the counter fire, basically. AZ trying to work something on A short, but he will be smoked off by the CTs. And Gamers2 rather waste their equipment instead of wasting their own lives as the terrorists push through middle. They get that frag thanks to Fetish. The Tech 9 is strong in his hands, and Nico with a double shot into CT spawn. Suddenly the terrorists come out on top thanks to that amazing shot into CT spawn by Nico. The rest was just basic number advantage for the terrorists, but what a shot by Nico. Really lucky for him to have those two CTs positioned over here. And he picked up that AWP, took the shot, and had them both killed in one single bullet. 8-3 now, thanks to some luck for Dignitas in another anti-eco round. So they seem to be stronger with the pistols compared to the rifles. Now they need to string together a few rounds to make it an 8-7 scoreline, which would be perfect for them, considering the outcome of the early stages of this half. And they received early damage already. Fetish down to 16 now. Pimp gets tagged in the foot. Down to 7 he goes. The terrorists are weak, and they need to find a weakness on the CT side, and they are yet to find out where the CTs are. They didn't deal any damage whatsoever, and the double AWP setup once again proves to be worthy for the CTs. As they are shifting their players around, the terrorists are actually going the other way. Look at the movement. Mouse is on the A platform right now. Wow, Pimp and Fetish still around short, but the terrorists seem to be committed to the B bomb set. They just want to fake it over the A bomb set. Try to draw the CTs off a little bit as Nico goes to work onto Sparrow. The move is obvious for the CTs right now. Rallen tries to take refuge behind the car. He gets himself the first headshot, then gets flashed horrifically. And AZ gets a frag, but still, Rallen took him down to 16 HP, and the terrorists are so weak right now. A single nade could kill 3 of them if it just lands in the right spot. Pimp in the middle, surprising the first CT, but Mouse is ready to take the refrag. It's a 2v3. Innocent coming from a very Innocent goes to work on Tico, and another retake for the CTs. Gamers2 make it 9-3 and don't allow Dignitas to take 2 rounds in a row. What a great retake once again by Gamers2. Of course, the terrorists have been very weak, but the positioning was questionable on the terrorist side. If you are weak like that, okay, Pimp was the kind of surprise guy to be around, but the rest of the squad should have gone for the refrags, and Just stay alive as long as possible. Play the clock if you have planted a bomb. But of course, it's just me talking in hindsight, and it's always easier to do that. Now Nico makes his AWP do its job once again onto Sparrow. This time it's A long and another headshot onto Innocent. It's definitely not because of Nico that Dignitas is losing right now. They can thank him for one of the rounds that they have on the board. Now Fetish goes onto the A platform, takes out Mouse, cleans it up right now. Now he drops into CT spawn. Risky play, but it pays off for now. And it's a 1v5 situation actually. Rellen in middle. And he will not go for the retake this time. Even if he made that retake happen, I would basically eat my pen that is right in front of me. Now Rellen still gets one frag onto Fetish, who tried to save that AWP. And then he gets taken out by Kier by 9-4. Heading into the second last round of the first half of the first map. Of course, everyone that just tuned in right now, we had some delay due to server issues. But now we have a fluent game and a very nice looking game, as well as the CTs are forced to save thanks to that kind of lose situation. The CTs can't afford to buy up once again, and that AWP of course put a strain on the CT's economy. Dignitas with a chance to actually make it 9-6, and it would still be a scoreline that they could be fine with. Easy with a nice aiming headshot there onto Rellen. In B Tunnels just taking care of it. Fetish with another one in CT spawn, and Minis goes down over there, as well as AZ cleans up the last B defender. Pimp takes out Mouse, and it's a 9-5 scoreline. Dignitas feeling a little better than they did before. But Gamers2 have one more round and they could make it 10-5. Let's see what they can do with an all-rifle setup. Except for Minis, who only has a 5.7. But you all know the 5.7 is a pistol that can do massive damage if it's used in the right manner. And the CTs go for one aggressive player in B tunnels. It is, well, it is still... it is Minis who gets himself the frag on the Fetish. Then another one by Minis. That 5.7 was definitely used in the right manner by the CT of Gamers2. Now it's a 2v4. Kierby and Nico on A long. They gather their forces. They try to work together. Nico goes forth. He smokes off. He goes for that big, really good frag by Nico, opening up the A bomb site. And he might hit another one. No, this shot goes wild, but he gets a bomb planted nonetheless. 3v2. Another retake coming up for Gamers2, and this time it might be a little harder, as the terrorists definitely got themselves into better positioning. Nico takes out Sparrow, then gets taken out by Innocent. It's a 1v2 situation. Kierby in pit, and the CTs are aware of where he's at, and they take him out together. Nicely done by Gamers2. Another retake for the Poles goes their way, and they make it 10-5. Dignitas will be punching themselves if they were sitting next to each other, as they had so many chances to make it happen. But look at that, 4 retakes in one half, and that's just amazing to see how many players have been alive at the end of the round. You can see 2 CT surviving every single retake, so it was a 2v1 situation in every single retake situation at the end. And Gamers2 just really good performance for that. 12 frags for Nico, 10 for AZ, 15 for Innocent, and 14 for Minis heading into the second half there. If Gamers2 win the pistol round and the following anti-eco rounds, I can't really see Dignitas coming back. But if the CTs manage to clinch it, it is an open game again. Sparrow with the first on the A platform at Nico, and Fetish mocked up 3 frags. Rellen and Sparrow in a 2v4. And it's just so hard to take that, and they actually lose one more player. Rellen with a Tech 9. He's up against 3 CTs. He takes down the first. He's got the number of Fetish, and Fetish is now down to 15 HP. But the support comes in to help Fetish stay alive. AZ takes him down, and it's 6-10. Dignitas winning the crucial pistol round, but they won the first one, and they lost 6 rounds in a row after that, so they definitely need to prevent themselves from doing the same mistake again. because Gamers2 would have won that match if they win another 6 rounds. The CT is now up against the 3 Tech 9s in the hands of Rallen, Sparrow and Mouse. And actually it is Kjaerbye and Pimp in middle to hold off the terrorist push. And while I was talking, AZ got a 3k in just a second. 7-10. Gamers2 did not really invest too much time into this round. They just tried to go in, get a few fast frags and capitalize on that. But sadly for them it didn't happen. Kjaerbye and Pim took care of middle, then AZ chimed in with the covering fire. And Gamers2 now on a full save except for the P250 in Miniza's hands. And of course Innocent has a P250 as well. And what is happening to the auto-director? Just switching very late. Pimp in some heavy firefight on the B bombs that he gets himself 2. Then Nico chimes in with 1, but Innocent gets better. And he doesn't have the bomb with him. Rallen and Innocent have the B bomb set under control, but the bomb is dropped in middle and the CTs have it under control with a shotgun in Fetish's hands. Innocent and Rallen are moving forward together. Innocent still has a smoke, so he could smoke off CT spawn, but they didn't communicate that at all. Kjaerbye has an easy time taking out Rallen, who picked up that rifle. And then a second frag for him against Innocent. 8-10 now in favor of Gamers2, but the lead is shrinking to only 2 rounds. And the Poles need to figure out what to do in this important rifle round. And yes, AZ is lagging yet again. We had that problem yesterday. Dignitas had to get Freeze to stand in, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it Copenhagen Wolves? No. It was Freeze who stood in for Dignitas. Maybe this will be the case once again. Looking at the frags, we have 16 for Nico and 14 for AZ. So he definitely did his job up until to this point, where he got himself into some internet issues. And Pimp with 12 frags, and on the other side we have 16 for Innocent and Minis. At least I have quick look at the chat to see if you're still raffling. Yeah, there are a few guys still trying to raffle. So I expect Freeze to come in and replace AZ. Let's see if that will be the case, however. Gamers2 still waiting to buy up. They are talking about their strategy probably. It is an important round for them, the first rifle round in the second half. And even though Mouse already purchased the AK, they could still, you know, discuss if they go for an AWP or not, or something like that. Depends on how they feel right now. The same goes for Dignitas. They still have some money on Kjaerbye. And of course Nico has enough money as well, but they are still waiting, still discussing what the terrorists might do in this round. If Gamers2 win it, Dignitas would look at a very weird economical situation. They would probably try to force it to keep Gamers2 from winning too many rounds in a row, but the Poles would go up 11-8 on the terrorist side. If they manage to get the economy of the CTs under control, Gamers2 might close it out on the terrorist side. If Dignitas win this rifle round without letting the terrorists plant the bomb, it looks way different, and the Danish squad will probably draw the game at 10 each. So it's up. The fight is up for Dignitas. They need to win it. They need to make it happen. And of course, one player to point out, as always, is Kjaerbye, who's not performing as good as he did yesterday. 9 frags, still not horrific or something like that. Not a bad performance at all. But sometimes Kjaerbye just steps it up a little further and he just goes nuts on his enemies. He had 19 frags in 10 rounds yesterday. And he's definitely one of the most talented players around right now, especially if you consider his age, which he's pretty young. I have to look up his actual age. And he's actually 16. So if you're 17 and you're not as good as Kirby, don't be worried. He's got massive amount of talent. And he already played a few lands, of course, ESWC last year with Copenhagen Wolves back in the day with a lineup of, I think it was Cajun B and well, I have to look that up as well. Cadian was in there for sure. So he's got experience and talent, and he will only get better and better the longer he plays. I hope that school doesn't get in his way. I hope that he performs well in school so he can keep playing the game and enjoying playing it at a level like that. If you're 16, you can only dream of something like that. So that's definitely something to work for if you want to be a pro gamer. My parents always tried to keep me from doing what I love, but I can tell you it's worth going for your dreams. Now, we have AZ back on the server, and he's got the right amount of money as well. So we should go ready in just a few seconds. And there we go. Dignitas in the first rifle round in the second half. Gamers2 with an all AK setup. They rather purchase helmet and grenades instead of an AWP. And on the CTs we have the scope in the hands of Nico. And he will take it to a long, where just that one flash will be popped off and nothing else is happening over there. Gamers2 going for early B tunnels control and of course shifting around their players. Depending on where they find their CT's opponents. Gamers2 now on the poke into a short, trying to get control over that, and at the same time smoking off CT spawn and flashing in there, so they try to force a rotation by Dignitas, but the CTs have 4 players over at the A bomb site, and if Gamers2 catch them in the wrong moment, they could potentially rotate back to the B bomb site, but it looks like the pose will be committed to the A bomb site. Minis takes out Pimp, who was distracted by all the action in A shot, but there are 3 more CTs around, and I don't know if Gamers2 will actually expect something like that, as Nico and Fetish rack up 3 frags in a second. It's back to a 2v2 situation. Gamers2 have the A platform under control, but Nico is already scoping in there, trying to find himself another target. He's got 2 already on the board, and he's repeatedly flashed off. He needs to retreat. He can't risk his life as AZ is lagging out in the B bomb site. Nico has to do all the work himself, and he does it with 2 quick frags on the A platform, defusing the bomb and single-handedly retaking A against the 2 Gamers2 players. And AZ was AFK the whole time. He's probably lagging out in just a second. Maybe, well, Gamers2 surely didn't know that AZ was AFK, but they played as if he was alive, so they didn't hide away from Nico. They didn't only play Nico's position, but they played as if AZ could come in from CT spawn or a short, so that kind of put them out in the open for Nico to pick them up. And you will have, and let's see, Freeze will probably step in, and look at the fair play by Gamers2. Even though the scoreline is as close as it is right now, Gamers2 just say, okay, you might have missed it because of the Steel Series logo, but he said he had full armor, a weapon, and 4k money, so we will go for 7k start money for the stand-in that will replace AZ. And Innocent just says, okay, let's go for that. And yeah, Freeze is coming in. So we're just waiting, yeah. like Nico says, we're just waiting for AZ to lose his connection, then Freeze will step it up. And he did a fairly good job yesterday when he stood in against Property. Even though Dignitas couldn't win the matches, he kind of got accustomed to the strategies already, and he's feeling the air in Dignitas. So they have their 6th player, basically a backup player around, and Freeze, of course, is happy to play a few professional games. He got kicked from his former team. So Freeze is happy to perform over here for Dignitas. And there goes AZ. He actually drops all his equipment. Well, not all of his equipment. He drops his nade and the rifle. So Freeze could pick that up, and the 7k kind of get more and more thanks to that rifle that got dropped. Freeze now with 5k start money. Okay, that's enough. I think the nade and the rifle that got saved basically is enough. So Dignitas with the rifle round on the board, they need to follow it up with a second one to draw this game. Gamers2 with 5 AKs, of course, they have planted a bomb, and that benefits them on the economy. So they can afford all the rifles. Even though they lack a few nades, they can still make it happen with their headshots. And they go for a 5-man train over towards long, and they flash out over there already. Kierby and Fetish under some pressure. Fetish goes down now. Kierby tries to recover, but he goes down to Sparrow as well. It's a 3v3. And the terrorists pull back out of a long. They realize the CT's on the rotation already, and there's no point to pressure it further. They know the CTs have rotated. And, or well, they don't know, but they can expect the CTs to have rotated a few players over to the A bomb side. And they are now on the rotation towards B. While the CTs push middle, they have an aggressive player over at the B tunnels. Let's see what Freeze is able to do from this position. As Sparrow looks the other way. Freeze with one nice frag. He retreats into the B bomb side, puts a stick between the terrorists, advances to B, and now the CTs have control over that. 48 seconds on the clock. The terrorists now back on the rotation towards A, and the CTs have one gun that points that direction. It's Nico who misses a crucial shot onto Mouse, who is on the rotation. Now Nico aims up in another angle, and he has one more chance to take Mouse out as he crosses to the bomb site. And Nico now gets blinded. The smoke comes out. The terrorists have everything covered, and they will plant the bomb. And now it's Dignitas' time to make their retake going and to make it work, just like Gamers2 did make 4 retakes work in the previous half. Now Minis gets a frag onto Freeze. Nico goes down on Minis, and Pimp with the frag onto Mouse. The bomb is burning, but Nico still heads over there to defuse it. Dignitas with a 10-10 draw, clinching that important round and making their way back into this match. Gamers2, however, still able to buy up thanks to another bomb plant, and if they keep doing that, they might grind out a few rounds, but it's questionable if they manage to string together a few rounds to break the CT's economy and to actually win this match. Dignitas is now looking very good, and they have that A-long aggression on their radar. They're trying to take care of that as soon as possible, and they send Fetish in to gather some information. He doesn't spot anyone, so he goes back out. And the terrorists are back on their basic setup as Nico takes out Innocent. Good performance by Nico today, hitting every shot basically. And Rallen is now flashed off. He tries to retreat. He doesn't get caught by the CTs yet, but Freeze has his number. Freeze with a frag onto Mouse. He's down to a few HP only as Rallen takes him out. Kierby is able to replenish the CT's control as Minis goes into middle. He tries to take on the bomb as Pimp takes him out. It's a real frag fest in middle. And Pimp with the last frag in the B bomb side. 3 CTs surviving. It could have gone either way in middle, but thanks to Kierby's really fast action, pushing through the smoke, taking out Rallen as he got himself that frag on Freeze. It was one of the crucial plays in this round, and now Gamers2 on a save. 3 Tech 9s for them, P250 for Mouse and Minis. Dignitas up 1 round, and they have a double AWP setup. So they try to save those for the next rifle round. They will certainly not be the best weapon against this anti-eco round, especially as Kerber goes down to Innocent. Fetish now takes over to cover for his teammate, and 2 quick headshots onto Minis, and Innocent will dispose of them. Make it 12-10. Dignitas climbing back on the horse, riding it away with 7 rounds in a row actually. So the Danish squad have their CT side figured out on dust2. And it was their map pick, so they are expected to perform like they do. But look at Pim's aggressive move into middle, taking out Mouse. Nobody expected him to pop out of the smoke. And especially not Mouse, as Fetish heads towards a long. He puts a few bullets into Sparrow, but doesn't manage to get the frag, and he now needs to retreat. But at least some information gathered for the CTs. They are still not completely in control of the round. Gamers2 can still pull it back. Sparrow in a firefight on a long. He catches another bullet, but he deals more damage to Fetish than he does to him. And kind of forces the CTs to keep an eye on a long, but they do have an eye on middle as well. Freeze and Kierby take down 2 terrorists really quickly as Rallen gets a refrag onto Freeze. Kierby is still around to take the control or keep control of the middle, and it's a 4v2 in favor of the CTs. The bomb in the hands of Rallen in middle, and Sparrow is still working on a long. He tries to push through over there. Kierby drops the bomb in middle, so the CTs know that the C4 is around there. They can adjust their positioning, and Fetish had the number of Sparrow all round long, and sometimes it's patience that gives you the kills and not aim. Fetish played the clock, he played very patiently, and in the end the back was pointing at him, so he had a very easy time to take out his opponent. 13-10, Dignitas with 3 rounds between them and their opponents. Looking good on the CT side. Gamers2 need to figure out how to demolish the CT's lineup right now, and they try to do that with a glass cannon in the hands of Rallen. No armor for him, AWP in the hands. Galil for Minis. And of course still double AWP setup for the CTs. Rallen now catches a bullet, messes up his aim, but he gets the second shot off onto Pimp and opens up the B bomb site. The terrorists swarm into that. It's only one CT over there. It is Freeze, and he will be taken out by Innocent with a nice headshot there. Kierby already on the doorstep, firing a few shots through the smoke, taking down Rallen to 37 HP. Sparrow is flashed horrifically. He needs to turn out, but he turns around in the right moment just to take out Kierby and make it a 2v5. Quickly, the CTs get disposed of by Minis in middle as he was getting into their back. It's a 13-11. Gamers2 don't give up on this matchup. They still are in the game, and they still know that they can definitely win this game as well. So we probably have another pause coming up, but it is the old school admin pause command. So I don't actually know what is happening right now. We could have lost connection to the GoTV, or the GoTV to the game server as well. And no, Senya is already asking what's up. And yeah, well, probably just was a weird hiccup, a weird lag maybe. Still 13-11. Now everybody is surfing and need to record a demo really quick in the next round. But let's stick with this crucial round for Gamers2. They can't afford to lose it, otherwise the loser bonus gets reset, or it is reset already. And they are running out of money if they don't win this one right now. Kierby with the early frag already onto Sparrow, but the terrorists on the move to the B bomb site. Nico with another one in middle, making it a 3v5. But Gamers2 in control of B, and they are about to plant the bomb over there. And see if Nico can say a few words to the terrorists and make them die with those words. Mouse actually makes him die before he can even open his mouth. 4v3, the bomb is planted. Gamers2 need to hold on to the C4. Good shots there by Innocent, taking Kierby down to 20 HP and retreating into the deeper part of the B tunnels, and he gets himself a double kill onto Fetish and Kierby. They both ran into his spray straight away. 2v3 now. The CTs are forced to save their weapons, and Gamers2 will get closer and closer to Dignitas after letting them win 8 or 9 rounds in a row. The CTs are looking very good right now. Well, it was 8 rounds in a row.
Terrorists win.
Yeah. Now Gamers2 with 2 in a row, they can buy up, and on the other side, now we know why we had that pause. The CTs lost freeze. Let's see if he can come back quickly. So Dignitas still have enough money. Pimp still has 6k after the buy. Fetish still has 6k, 3.7 on Nico, so it should be enough. They will surely go for the buy right now. They don't want to allow Gamers2 to clinch too many rounds in a row. Now the question is, how much money did Freeze have? Gamers2 with the double AWP on the terrorist side. Looking good right now with 2 rounds in a row, but the CTs had 8 strung together before the terrorists figured out how to overcome the CT's defense. And one of the crucial mistakes in the last round was, of course, Dignitas had Nico in front of B over here, and the terrorists were coming from B tunnels. Nobody had an eye out on B, and when Nico actually expected the terrorists to make their move, he was already smoked off over here, and he went to the window just to be shot down by the terrorists. So Dignitas had one man that kind of expanded his life for nothing, and in the end Gamers2 held on to the bomb thanks to a double kill over here in B tunnels. Fetish and Kiabai came up, and it wasn't the best of plays. Of course, Kiabai knew that there was somebody around the B tunnels. They tried to just overwhelm him with manpower, but the spray was too good in that situation. The terrorists came out on top of the crucial round, and now they have the chance to draw this game at 13 each. Who would have expected that Dignitas would put up a fight like that against Gamers2, especially with their recent results? It didn't look too good for them. But 70% on Go Lounge thought that Gamers2 will win, and 30% thought that Dignitas might come out on top of this best of 2 series. So CSGO Lounge returns your skins if the game ends in a draw. That means one map is, for example, won by Dignitas and one is taken by Gamers2. The league counts 1 point for each map, so it doesn't actually matter if it's draw or not. We just want to give the teams the chance to play each other twice. And at the moment, it's the first game between the 2 teams. 7:20. We have another game coming up at 8 o'clock between Virtus Pro and Property. We saw Virtus Pro and Property play yesterday already. They both won their 2 matches. Virtus Pro is currently sitting on top of the league with 4 wins out of 4 matches. Really good performance by them so far. They had some trouble against Penta. They needed an overtime on Overpass, and Penta was on Cobble. And Penta was actually in a very good position to win that match. But Virtus Pro won, I think it was 7 straight rounds on the terrorist side, even. Or was it the CT side? I can't actually remember anymore. It was last week, so quite a long time ago. So Virtus Pro still on top of the league. Property has 2 wins out of 2 matches as well. So if Property win against Virtus Pro, they are actually looking better than the Polish side. On the other side, Gamers2 have 1 win out of 2 matches. They have lost 1 map against Copenhagen Wolves. Copenhagen Wolves on the other side have 1 win out of 4 matches as well. They have lost against Property yesterday. And then we have Dignitas and Penta on the bottom of the scoreboard right now with 2 losses out of 2 games. Of course, Penta against Virtus Pro and Dignitas against Virtus Pro as well. No, Dignitas against Property. Copenhagen Wolves played Virtus Pro. Yeah. The Danish squads, they get me mixed up all the time. So let's see how long it takes Freeze to come back to the server. I will show you the chat so you can read it. Oh, Pim, the burn for his teammates. Or well, not he doesn't exclude himself, but look at him. It's not like we need any help to lose anyway. So I hope you enjoyed the game so far. We had a small pause due to AZ being dropped from the server, then Freeze stepped in. We had a very nice first half by Gamers2, but an evenly nice second half by Dignitas on the CT side, who actually managed to win more rounds up until this point than their opponents did. Now it's Gamers2's time to make themselves shine. They already have 2 in a row, and they just need to make that 4 more, and they would win the first map in the second matchup in the Go Champions League. Of course, I'm the Boo from Germany, if you have wondered, and I will give you my social media so you can follow me on Twitter, for example. I tweet every single time I go online. You can follow me over there. It's really easy. And if you want to not miss any other matches in the Go Champions League, make sure to follow this channel as well. I already have 6,000 followers, so thank you a lot for that. And it's my birthday tomorrow. I will give away a few skins before the matches tomorrow, and there will be Go Champions League matches at 8 o'clock. I believe the game at 6 o'clock has been cancelled, but we still have the match at 8 o'clock, so make sure to tune in tomorrow. I will give away more than 1 skin. I gave away the Faded Zebra already, and I hope that... Who was it? I actually forgot his name already. It was Centig who won the skin, so I hope he has fun with that, or maybe the skin will be blessed and he only wins his bets if he bets with that skin. So Fetish says that they get a new stand-in. Freeze will... or well, Freeze is removed already. And it is Socken. So another replacement that's not actually too bad. The Danish scene is of course stacked with talent. I wonder how a country as small as Denmark can come up with so many CS players that play in the top 3, tier 3, tier 2, tier 1 teams even. We have of course TSM, who kind of are in a slump right now, but they, I'm sure they will be back for Katowice. And yeah, I would be glad if Germany had half of those players. We have a decent pro scene, but it's more or less tier 3 all the way, except for Penta and Mouse Sports. Maybe a few other teams, but if we... yeah, well, the German scene, you know. I hope they will get this stuff together really soon. Sparrow doesn't hit that shot and he catches 2 nades now as the game goes live again. It is a crucial round for Gamers2. They can draw the game against Dignitas after they allowed the CTs to take their lead. They were down 10-5 after the first half, and then the Danes made their way back to the top 13 to 12 it is right now, and it looks, well, undetermined right now. The CTs with a 3-man stack over the B bomb site, while 1 in middle and 2 at B, and Gamers2 And Gamers2 about to execute the B split. They actually removed Socken already in middle, so the red carpet is rolled out for them on the B bomb set. They just need to find their frags over there. Rallen with that close quarter shot with that AWP onto Kjaerbye. One more CT to find, and Rallen does pull the trigger at the right moment. Sparrow takes out Fetish, and it's Nico alone against 3 terrorists, and he's got no chance against them anymore. They will shortly plant the bomb and then just carry on to find that weapon in the hands of the young Danish AWP. 13-13, the scoreline will be as soon as the C4 explodes. And it looks good for Gamers2 now that they have found a way to abuse the B bomb site. And of course, Dignitas' momentum was demolished with those attacks, not only on AZ, but also on Freeze, who did a good job as a stand-in yesterday already. And now the DDoSes have found his IP as well. And it's just freedom. Yeah. So it is of course hard for Dignitas, you know. You might think, oh well, they still have 4 players, and on a CT side you just put that player over there and tell him cover this angle and everything will be fine. But it of course makes them angry, it makes them throw off their balance. And congratulations to your daughter, by the way. I just caught that message in the chat. But you know, it just puts a strain on their focus, and that's why those repeated stand-ins, they try to help, but sometimes it's just about the mental state of a team. Look at Gamers2 once again abusing the B bomb site, taking out Kjaerbye and Pimp. Really swift movement by the Poles over there in this anti-eco round. And Dignitas just try to keep Nico alive to save that AWP for the upcoming round. Gamers2 of course will take the lead again and make it 14-13. Then it's Dignitas' time to put a stop to the terrorist reign on dust2. It is the first match of the 2 teams, even though it's quite late already. We will see the second map, Mirage, that got voted by Gamers2 right after this one. So stay tuned for the second map, as well as another game that is coming up, Property against Virtus Pro, as soon as this best of 2 is finished. So Nico saves that AWP, he keeps the money, he can drop for his teammate if he wants to, but everybody has enough money to do that. So Dignitas back on rifles. And they had an 8-round streak. You could argue it looked easy for them in that part of the game. So why don't they do what they did before? Maybe because of the stand-ins, maybe because Gamers2 know what the CTs did to win the rounds, and now Gamers2 abuse that fact. And it looks like the B bomb set will be the point of attack once again. Socken already tossing a nade in there. The CTs actually have switched their positioning. Socken is now on the B bomb site. He's left there alone. Pimp and Kjaerbye in middle like they were in the beginning of the match. And Dignitas with 2 players over at the A bomb site. Kjaerbye gets flashed and smoked off. He thinks it's going to be a B attack, but the terrorists make their way to A short. Fetish catches a nade, but only loses 12 HP, so he doesn't feel too bad right now. The terrorists still on the verge of attacking the A bomb site. They still have 1 player over at B tunnels to keep the CTs busy. And it will be Nico and Fetish against the rest of the terrorists. Look at that. Sparrow needs to battle against Fetish again. They already faced off a few times. Fetish came out on top of one of the better face-offs over there, and now Nico opens up onto Mo. Socken about to peek. Oh, Minis and Sparrow with 2 frags in a second. Now Socken spots that there's nobody around the B bomb site, and suddenly Nico and Kjaerbye mob up the frags on the A bomb site. Innocent is alone on A right now against 3 CTs, and he needs to make it happen against the rest of the Dignitas squad with, I don't know how many seconds it was. I think it was 15 maybe. The bomb is dropped in CT spawn, and we have 2 CTs looking that direction. If Innocent decides to jump down there, he's drop dead. And of course, Nico is still around the corner to get the refrag if Innocent magically bends 2 bullets around. Nice Spider-Man webs going on here right now, and it looks like yet another DDoS. So Dignitas are the team, I think they are the only team actually that just always get DDoSed. They are historically the team that suffered the most DDoS attacks, I guess. I feel a little bad about them. For them. Not about them, but for them. As they can't do anything about the DDoS situation. Especially as they get stand-ins. They try to take care of it. They do the best they can. But somehow the DDoSers always find a way to put a stick between the Danish squad. And the time will run out. As I said, Innocent can't make it to the... Oh, he actually goes down to Soken. Great play by him. The stand-in removes the AWP and makes it much more expensive to buy up for the Polish side. 14-14 in the stages of this game. It couldn't be closer. We couldn't have expected more of those two teams. Dignitas on the CT side, they are fired up right now. They're getting back on track, but Gamers2 will push to the B bomb site with all their forces. Socken really nervous. He turns around, but he gets himself 2 frags. Really good performance, but Miniz and Rallen will mop up the B bomb site and leave only 2 CTs alive for that retake to keep Gamers2 from making it to match point. 3v2 situation, as I said. Miniz with that AWP over in the B tunnels, and he just missed. The CT coming his direction was Fetish, and of course there was another DDoS on Pim, this time on Dignitas. The rest of the terrorists have everything covered. Innocent looks into middle. The CTs need to save their weapons. They try to draw that game. Kierba already calls that the worst day ever. Fetish with a nade in hand on top of everything. He might lose his life, but he gets out on top of that exchange as well. And at least small benefit for Dignitas to remove 2 weapons of Gamers2. And we have another pause. Of course, this time it is Pimp to be dropped. Maybe they can get AZ back in and have a what's it called? Everyone takes a turn on playing for Dignitas. If they go to a LAN, maybe they will have random... maybe they will have random passerbys on a LAN to play for one of the players, you know. The way like, oh, Fetish needs to go to the toilet. Hey, you, step in for him. We are used to playing with a stand-in anyway, so it doesn't matter for us. We can win either way. But at the moment, it looks like Gamers2 will win this match. At least they have 1 match point. The CTs need to defend themselves. And actually, AZ is coming back. Great stuff there. So he had the wrong amount of money, but well, AZ is coming back, so I couldn't love more right now. It is ridiculous and funny at the same time. And well, we just need to figure out how much money he gets on spawn, and then we are live with the last round of this regular playtime. Maybe we will see an overtime. Ah, well, AZ is a rich boy. He always spawns with 16,000. Doesn't matter how much start money is said. So we are back on server troubles. But let's try to talk about this game some more. It was quite entertaining, even though the Dignitas had 3 different players in the lineup already. They had AZ, Freeze, and Soken. Or Socken, or however that name is pronounced. I'm sorry if I get it wrong, but I actually never heard the name pronounced by any Danish player or whatsoever, so I just call him Socken for now. And well, Dignitas still performed quite well for the amount of attacks they have been targeted by. So even if they should lose this game, I would kind of call them winners of the hearts. At least they performed really well, despite the great effort that somebody came up with to make it as hard as possible for them. Now Gamers2 with the last effort. Of course, they want to close out this game right now. P250 for Minis, the rest of the squad with rear rifles, AWP for Innocent. And on the other side, we have a double AWP set up by the CTs. Soken with the FAMAS, AZ's back in the game, and Fetish already gets taken out by Kierby with a quick refrag on a long. Makes it a 4v4 again. The terrorists still not in control of any crucial parts of the map. They are trying to swing back to the A-bomb site. Try to get a long under control with 3 players. Kierby is alone on there. And the CTs all cramped up in B. Maybe some miscommunication, but we will find out in a second. Minis goes to work on Kierby. The A-bomb site is swept clean by the terrorists. But they didn't figure that out yet. They are still in front of a long. And they are still not daring to take a step over there. Sparrow now takes out Soken. It's a 4v2 situation. Nico with that AWP, and AZ now only has a pistol, so he's crashed on the B bomb site. Nico in a 1v4. He makes it a 1v3, and he's under pressure in middle. He knows where Sparrow is, but Sparrow keeps him at bay with that Molotov cocktail, and he smoked off on top of everything. The terrorists now planting the bomb. And Sparrow will try to slow Nico down or kill him, but Nico with that AWP, no scope in middle, making his way to the A short approach, having 2 terrorists, 1 in A platform and 1 in the pit. He's got the right rifle to battle them. He's trying to draw 1 out with that incendiary nade, but it doesn't work for him. Nico needs to find those frags really fast. He has 1 right next to him. He gets a headshot off and goes for the defuse. Mouse is still waiting. He thinks that it's a fake, and Nico goes down to the headshot of Mouse. AZ is still lagging, and Gamers2 make it 16-14. What a game. Nico almost won that 4v1 situation and won 0.5 seconds. 29 frags for Nico. Really good performance for him. But Gamers2 still take it home. The first map is over. We will see the second map in a second on Mirage between the 2 teams. Of course, it is a best of 2, and you're watching the game, the Global Offensive Champions League. Thanks for tuning in. The second map will be live in a few minutes.